More than a conqueror.
All right, you all. I am back. I have no idea. I have rebooted, restarted, redone everything. And this show is going to go on whether whoever likes it or don't like it. And I am just so I don't even know what else to say. Denise, what can you say about this?
Well, the enemy does what he does, and we do what we do. We just keep going.
And you all, let me just tell you the difficulty. This is some truth that you may not want to see or you can't see, but you can ready to hear about it. I went to send her the link via messenger once again, and it tells me she's not eligible. But I sent her the previous link in no, I'm sorry. I went to email it to her. It wouldn't allow me to email her. Now I was able to email the previous link to her and she got on. But this second link, it wouldn't let me email it to her. And then so I had to go through Messenger 3 times to get it to go. But nonetheless, here we are. And I just want to say, when you're under this type of attack, you must be doing something right. And y'all, it happens to me on a regular basis. And I promise you, we were on here at least 20 to 25 minutes before the show talking. And I kept saying, can you hear me? I kept going in and out. And she still couldn't. I mean, she could hear me, but I couldn't hear her. So we just decided to do it this way. She's on my speakerphone. So I pray that everyone can hear her because we're going on. We're pressing on anyhow. Anyway, that part. Okay, so today's show is remembering 9/11. 9/11 is a time where many of us, the world stopped. The world seemed like it stopped because it was so unbelievable. And if we couldn't see it with our own eyes, we heard about it. It was just everywhere. So how about were you in school, or you look every bit of 18 now? So I'm not sure how old you are, but do you recall? I was telling my son about it. He said, Mom, I was in the 8th grade. I was like, no, you wasn't in the 8th grade.
I was in the 8th grade. I was in history class. And I remember George Bush getting on the screen, and he was reading to some children, and everything cut out. And they showed the Twin Towers going down.
Wow. So how did the students react at that point in time?
We were all just in shock, like, what is happening?
So did you all get to see it, or how did that go in class?
Actually, we did. Our teacher was a coach, and when you have a coach, they're like, "Hey, let's go with the flow." So we got to watch it, but it was amazing to see the level of unity that came about from it.
Okay, say that again. It was amazing to what?
See unity.
And at that point in time, color wasn't a factor.
Exactly.
And I was looking back on some of the footage, and I realized, I said, wow, color really wasn't a matter of fact because everybody was gray.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter who gave me a hand up, long as I got helped up. Exactly. And I truly believe that's where we need to go back to. But before we get started into the meat of things, do you have the timeline available right there in front of you?
Give me 1 second.
Because I want people to see, to know about the timeline. While she's looking that up, you have it?
I believe I do.
Because my timeline has definitely disappeared. But that's okay. But if you don't have it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll start. I wanted to read the timeline of how all this began. And the timeline, according to UVA Miller Center, at 5:45 a.m., Muhammad Atta and Abdul Azu Al-Amari, two of the intended hijackers, passed through security at the Portland International Jetport in Maine. They board a commuter flight to Boston Logan International Airport. They then board American Airlines Flight 11. Now, in the biblical realm, Flight 11 in the spiritual numbers, because I like to deal with numbers, y'all. This may be some truth that you don't want to see, but you get ready to hear it. And I deal with biblical numbers. The number 11 stands for judgment. Judgment. I'm sorry. We judge everything and everybody, but sometimes God got to judge everybody, and he reigns on the just as well as the unjust. And there was a lot of pain in this. So nonetheless, flight at 7:59, flight 11 takes off from Boston, headed for Los Angeles, California. There are 76 passengers, 11 crew members, and 5 hijackers on board. At 8:15, United Airlines flight 175 takes off from Boston, also headed for Los Angeles. There are 51 passengers, 9 crew members, and 5 hijackers on board. 8:19 a.m., a flight attendant on Flight 11, Betty Ann Ong, said, alerts ground personnel that a hijacking is underway and that the cockpit is unreachable. My God. Can you imagine the terror that was going on with the people on that flight?
I mean, to me, it's like, what do you think about? You think about your family, like, oh my God, I might not see my mom again. I might not see my baby again. I might not see my cousin who I just had dinner with.
Wow. Wow. Okay, let's keep going. 8:20 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 takes off from Dulles, outside of Washington, D.C., headed for Los Angeles. There are 53 passengers, 6 crew members, and 5 hijackers on board. At 8:24 a.m., Muhammad Atta, a hijacker on Flight 11, unintentionally alerts air controllers in Boston to the attack. He meant to press the button that allowed him to talk to the passenger on his flight. See how God will work?
Ooh.
Even in the midst of all of that, can you imagine if that hadn't happened, what other catastrophe would have happened? What else would have happened? Right. Unbelievable. Okay, so at 8:37 a.m., after hearing the broadcast from Atta on Flight 11, Boston Air Traffic Control alerts the U.S. Air Force Defense Sector, who then mobilized the Air National Guard to follow the plane. Can you see 8:42? What happened, Miss Denise?
United Flight 93 takes off from Newark, New Jersey, after a delay due to routine traffic. It was headed for San Francisco, California. There are 33 passengers, 7 crew members, and 4 hijackers on board.
Keep going.
8:46 a.m., Flight 11 crashes into the World Trade Center, North Tower. All passengers aboard are instantly killed, and employees of the WTC are trapped above the 91st floor. 9:03 a.m. Flight 175 crashes into the WTC's South Tower.
WTC stands for the World Trade Center. In case you all don't, I know you all know, but I just want to clarify that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. All passengers aboard are killed instantly and are also unknown number of people in the tower. Wow. So they have like zero comprehension of how many people are in there. Exactly. Wow. That's a lot.
And it's a huge facility. I had the privilege of visiting the World Trade Center. It is huge. It was beautiful on the inside. There's no way they can have an accurate number of people because there are lots of floors in the World Trade Center. So I don't know what to say to that, but they gave the truth right there. Unknown number of people in the tower. Okay, go ahead, and I'll pick up at 9:28.
9:05 a.m., President George W. Bush in an elementary school classroom in Florida is informed about the hit on the second tower.
Okay, pause right there. So you just confirmed that you were watching him read to the children in the classroom, and he was informed. Wow.
Yeah. So in real lifetime, I'm watching this play out.
Wow, wow, wow.
As a child.
Read on.
His chief of staff, Andrew Card, whispers the chilling news into the president's ear. Bush later wrote about his response. I made a decision not to jump up immediately and leave the classroom. I didn't want to rattle the kids. I wanted to project a sense of calm. I had been in enough crisis to know the first thing the leader has to do to project calm. Wow. Okay, so did you all, you were watching this. Okay, and you can add yourself back to the screen. I'm going to go ahead and just take over from here. So you were watching this as a child. Can you recall, did you feel a sense of calm? Did you understand the urgency, or did he do exactly what he said he set out to do? Yeah, I mean, he definitely didn't give away like everybody should panic.
Okay.
But I will say this, we did understand that something was not right.
Mm-hmm. So, what were some of the classmates' reactions around you?
Shock. Most of us were just silent. We didn't know how to respond.
Okay. Well, I can't see you on the screen, y'all. Here we go again with this, but nonetheless. So most were silent. Did any of them know anyone?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, while we work on this, we're gonna let me do this, and well, nonetheless, when it comes back up, it will. Y'all, I've never had this much trouble with, well, I'm always having trouble. Y'all know that's the reality coach's version. Okay, so hijackers at 9:28, hijackers attack on flight 93, 9:37. Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon. All passengers aboard are instantly killed, and so are 125 civilians and military personnel in the building. 9:45 a.m. U.S. airspace is shut down under Operation Yellow Ribbon. All civilian aircraft are ordered to land at the nearest airport. 9:55 a.m. Air Force One with President George Bush aboard takes off from Florida. 9:57 a.m. Passengers aboard Flight 93 began to run up toward the cockpit Gerard, the pilot, begins to roll the plane back and forth in an attempt to stabilize the revolt. 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. 10:02 a.m., Flight 93 plows into an empty field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Although its ultimate target is unknown, it was likely heading to either the White House or U.S. Capitol. According to the Britannica report, 2,750 people were killed in New York, 184 at the Pentagon, and 40 in Pennsylvania, where one of the hijacked planes crashed into the ground after passengers attempted to retake. All terrorists died. And y'all, I need you to total up that number. That is a high number when you total it all together. It's sad. Nonetheless, I want to tell you who caused this deviance. Osama bin Laden was relatively unknown in the United States before 9/11, even as he was amassing popularity, followers, and fame in the Middle East during the 1990s. In 1988, he was one of the founders of Al-Qaeda, a militant Islamic terrorist organization that organized and carried out the 9/11 attack. Bin Laden called for indiscriminate killings of all Americans, who he claimed were the worst deeds in the world. If it was the perfect historical moment for the rallying cry. Now, y'all, they say this was the worst catastrophe in the United States since Pearl Harbor, and we thought it couldn't get no worse. This was terrible. Okay, Miss Crawford, are you trying to get on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, isn't that something? Well, we see. I'm not sure why you can't, but nonetheless. Okay, so now let's go on and let's put. Okay, this is why I wanted you on here. Let's put this in spiritual relevance. The number 22, which is double 11, which symbolizes in biblical. Now let me put these shades on because y'all don't want to hear this truth, but you may not see it, but you get ready to hear it. Let me put these shades on. In spiritual relevance, the number 22, which is double 11, which symbolizes disorder and chaos, can mean a concentration of disorganization. Y'all, is that where we are now? Now, Denise, since Miss Crawford, Denise, since you were a child, can you see how times have changed since you were in the 8th grade?
Oh yeah, it's actually kind of scary to be raising children in this day and age. Someone like me, a believer, I hold conservative values. I just want my children to be able to have a safe home, freedom to worship our God, freedom to go places safely and enjoy life.
Okay, so let me ask you this. With that being said, tell us who I have on there on the flyer a spiritual visionary, anointed. Tell the people why you feel as though you're chosen for a time such as this.
Well, very plainly, people perish without vision. On top of that, you have to have somebody that's willing to be a leader and stand up and say what's right whenever things are not cool or popular to say. And then I have the nurturing qualities of a mother. So I don't know if you know this or realize in the media, I will say this.
Can you, before you do that, can you try to click back in and see if you can get on the screen? Because I want people to see you.
Can you see me?
Of course not. It doesn't even look like you're in the studio. Wow, y'all, but nonetheless, y'all, this is just so sad.
Let me see. Can you see?
No. Up. I think we're getting somewhere. There you are. Yes.
I'm back.
Yay. Won't he do it? Just keep trying. Okay, so you said you have 2 children that are all Black.
Yes.
And then you have one that is mixed.
Yes.
Okay, so how does that, well, you know, we say it doesn't matter, but in today's world, it's really harsh. Well, you know what? I must say it's getting better now because the world is more receptive to the beautiful children that are produced by 2 colors being mixed together. So how do your children do with this?
My children, they love one another, of course, naturally, right? Because they grow up in a home and an environment that is conducive to love. Like, that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I said that to say that I'm coming from a different perspective. If I was God and I'm looking at my children, I'm looking at America, and here's the reality of it all. The same way I look at Shanlin and Jeremiah, I would sacrifice everything for them, correct? I would sacrifice the same for Israel, just in the same sense. Why? Because they're still mine.
Say that one more time. Because they're who?
They're still mine.
That part.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, the world has become more receptive of the interracial relationships. But here's my concern when it says complete chaos. Are we not in chaos? I mean, you can live your life however you choose to live it. That's you. My job as a believer and a follower of Christ is to point you in the right direction to the Bible and pull out what is needed at that moment in time. Only God can give us that. But when you clearly think that you can reinvent what God created you, who God created you to be, that is some chaos. You have now in this world where men literally call themselves a woman, recreate their whole makeup to be a woman. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. That's you. I don't have a heaven or per se a lower place called hell to put you in because you know I'm trying to live right. None of us are perfect. We're just trying to be purpose and get there. But my thing is, as a believer, I am not going to become an innocent liar. And if, and I call them those ifs, I can't afford them in my life, innocent failures. If, because I don't want God to say, if my people who were called by my name, I don't want him to have to be able to use that innocent failure on me because I don't want him to say, you remember over here where you knew that was clearly a man and you started calling him or her, all so you could fit in. And when you really look at the Bible and you go to Lot's story, Lot's story was very, 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 very interesting. And you can take over on that one. You can go ahead and talk about that a little bit for me.
Well, I have to say this. We have to stop giving way to strong delusion.
Oh, girl, look here. Say that again.
Put the skates back on.
There you go.
Yes, ma'am. Put them back on. Because one thing about a visionary is I have to walk in the spirit of truth. Correct?
That part.
And you can do what you want to do. I definitely love everybody on their own level. But here's the thing. You have to respect my decisions as well as I have to respect yours. So if you want to live in fantasy land, that's fine. But I live in a land of truth and reason. Logic still matters.
Logic still what?
It still matters.
Oh, really? Well, maybe I don't understand the word logic. Maybe I don't understand that. I mean, I'm just saying. And logic seems to me you have to use basically common sense.
Oh, you just cut.
In the spirit, all in the spirit. You have to utilize common sense. And y'all know the reality coach, one of her many favorite sayings is, if it don't make book sense and don't make common sense, it's nonsense. Nonsense. And we got a lot of nonsense going on because I'm telling you right now, I am not getting ready to do that. I'm not. If you are a man, I'm not going to argue with you. And you want to say you or she, I'm going to say he's nice. And you can say, yes, she is nice. However you want to do it. And then we can go sit down and conversate together and have us a good meal. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to identify you as who I know you to be. But that don't mean I can't show you love and show you the light of Christ coming through me. But then again, I have a friend whose family will just totally, because they are true believers, they totally will not have anything to do with the daughter. How do you feel about that as a believer?
That's absolutely not okay. Not okay at all.
Exactly.
You know my family very well. You know my grandmothers. So I have to love you enough to want to see you grow. And in this world where grand delusion seems to be everywhere, I would rather stay humble and stay in a place of truth. No, I'm not perfect. Yes, I mess up daily. Your sin might be more visible than mine. Who's to say? But that does not mean that I can't love you in the proper context. I'm not going to sit here and call you him, her, them, they. First of all, them, they, playing with me, I'll cast you out. Them, they.
Well, so going back to remembering 9/11, the eye opener. And with this being said, I have to say that I hope I can find my notes on this. Since 9/11, we went from physical chaos to mental chaos. And that is something that I want people to understand. Satan works with emotions. He goes and he tries to, if he can get your mind, he can have your heart.
Yep.
And evil, if it can enter into the mind of man, it can penetrate the heart. And these are the three things, the four things that I feel that since the physical chaos has already happened, we understand death. At some point in time, your mind can only handle so much trauma. 9/11 just stopped us all dead in our tracks because we saw physical trauma right there. Now, we finally learned to deal with that. Well, how soon we forget? How soon do we forget physical trauma? You know, okay, when my son was murdered, everybody was around me saying, oh, I'm sorry, oh, this, that, and that. 2 weeks later, they were on to something else. But the physical trauma is still with me. It doesn't go away, but I understand how to embrace happiness. I mean, how to separate happiness and joy. Because these four things, when you seek happiness and you don't keep joy on the inside, the four things that Satan can use to keep you stuck in a place: emotional trauma, physical trauma, mental trauma, and intellectual trauma. At some point in time, those elements are used in your life. You may not be suffering physical trauma at this point in time, but because his job he was cast down to do what he does. Seek whom he can to destroy who will be destroyed. And he's working so well. And he got a lot of workers of iniquity out here with him.
Oh, yeah, he do.
Osama bin Laden. He put a lot of physical trauma on us. And by the time our mind started with that, then we went to the intellectual. They started messing with the internet. Now you got to watch what your kids watch. You can't let them go in the room now with this internet. Ain't no telling where they're gonna be or what they're gonna see. So can you see how this has emotionally traumatized us?
Definitely that. But I can also see where we need to learn from history.
So what do you think that we can learn from 9/11? The eye opener. It should have opened the eyes because we missed Pearl Harbor, but we got 9/11.
Well, I would say there's probably 3 to 4 different things, right? God first. Rule this country. And we need to get people that have morals and integrity in positions. Yeah, go ahead and put it back on. They're just going to stay on.
I can't even take them off, y'all. This is some dark truth you may not want to see, but you sure gonna hear the good light truth. Go ahead.
But we need to put people in positions that have morals and integrity. And then on top of that, we need to be mindful of what's projected in media to our children. I hit something. I'm sorry.
Well, and what you hit is this type of media that we're doing right here. It gets all the blockage. It gets all the ups and downs. I mean, all I can see you is moving fast in 1 second and slow motion in another second. I have to use my cell phone to hear you. And normally, StreamYard works, just fine. But this truth here, this light, this lifeline, and this media truth here, I get blocked all the time. I was in Facebook jail for something I didn't do. And I'm like, I'm at a radio station. I'm playing music for inspirational purposes. I'm not violating copyright laws, but you know what? The Lord will give you wisdom in the time of need. You know what I politely said? If these artists did not intend for their music to be used to inspire and be an inspiration to someone, I would gladly take them out of rotation. Within 3 minutes, I got an email back saying, "Oh, we don't see where you've violated we don't see where you've infringed on any copyright laws."
Of course.
That's my point. When you go to talk about dollar signs and messing with people's money, they get some holy act right. But go ahead.
That holy act right.
So you were saying you want the third one.
And then the fourth one. Please, people, be mindful that what you do in this life will have consequences to the next generation.
Girl, I'm finna mic. I ain't even got a mic to drop at this moment. Your sins are begotten to the third and the fourth generation. This generational systematic craziness that we got going on. Y'all, if your kids don't get it in one of these four, Satan don't stop. They gonna either get it emotionally, physically, mentally, or intellectually.
Yep.
And how do we combat this? How do we combat this?
Well, obviously it would be to get back in a position of prayer.
Okay, now I wish I could throw something at you.
I wish I could throw this phone.
That part. Go ahead. A position of prayer. She didn't say get prepared to pray. She said get in a position to pray.
Yes.
Because this world, Satan has already prepared us. We need to pray.
Stay at the altar.
Okay.
Don't get up.
Can't get up. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited. Girl, I'm just full. Go ahead.
When you have several seats, sit it down at your house too. Let that altar be in your house too. You asked how we could combat this.
I did.
The Holy Spirit.
I did. I had to calm down. It had to calm me down because see, I want to take on. I got on my running shoes.
Yeah. We're just gonna take a little jog around the block. Get it one good time. Yeah.
Breathe. Woosah. Okay.
Yeah. Be the example in your home, please. I'm so tired of everybody and their mama wants to be on a platform and be a good Christian youth pastor and Bishop Arch. Yeah, slide down in.
Girl. Woo. Father, go ahead, speak, baby. I'm just gonna shut up. I'm gonna try to maintain my composure.
And I know if I'm tired of it. You know who got to be tired of? You know who got to be tired of?
Fit to be tired.
Jesus got to be tired of it. Look here.
Y'all, now, excuse me just a moment. I don't know what happened, but just one more. Keep talking, baby. I'm listening.
Did the Lord not say you are to love the Lord your God with all your heart?
Well, that's what he said.
And to treat your brother with what? Love. Everything else. He made the atonement for with his sacrifice, correct?
Well, you're doing the most right now. Go ahead. Let the Lord use you.
I usually do. You know, that's how I'll talk about. I do the most.
Now, let me just tell y'all this. Let me share this with y'all. Now, I have plugged up my computer. It was fully charged. It just went dead. It's about to go dead. But keep talking, baby. Let me see what's going on. And it's plugged up into the wall. But go ahead. Keep talking.
Yes. Let us now take this time to get in a position of prayer at the altar and in our homes.
In our homes.
Do the rest.
In our homes, y'all. Not outside in the yard first. but in our homes. Okay, that's that. That's one. We got about 8 minutes, but we probably just gonna go live on Facebook, y'all, because we got to keep this going because it's just too good for me to stop it. But go ahead. Prayer in your home, not just outside in the backyard, but inside the house. But first, we got to start within, right?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, and here's another thing. When the Bible is talking to Peter, upon this rock, I will build my church. That's what it said. Now, people have a tendency to think it's a whole big old building. And I had to study that 4 or 5 times because I've been taught that it was, I guess I've been misquoted. I guess I misunderstood because when I finally read it for myself, I was looking for a building, but only one that was standing there was Peter. So I just finally came to the conclusion that the building, the church, the building was him. Okay. So that means, y'all, I know we supposed to go to the assembly and fret not forsaking themselves together and all of that. Yes, we are. But let me tell you what I do know. We having church right here.
Exactly.
And I'm looking at her on the screen. So quit letting these ministers and people tell you that in order for you to be able to preach and in order for you to share the good news, you have to be in a building. You are the building. Let your light shine. Your light can't shine if it's inside the house. Sometimes you got to go outside of the house to be the lamp unto somebody's feet.
That part.
So quit believing all this craziness. Study to show yourself approval to God so you can rightly understand the word of God. Now, it's 2 Timothy 2:15. Y'all go and look it up yourself. I know I just put my little old bit on it, but it's second. I have to talk to myself sometimes like that because see, I get sideswiped and I get all politically correct and I forget some words or don't say them right or what have you. So sometimes I have to tell myself in layman's terms, Dorothy, if you don't study, you're going to be staying out here confused. And then you're going to be used. And then misused. And then abused finally.
Well,
now, I'm sorry.
Mom said it.
Go ahead.
She stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready.
That part.
I'm just saying.
So that would be the one thing that you would say, be in a position of prayer.
Yes, always.
And if we didn't learn anything else, I mean, I remember when 9/11, after it happened, you couldn't beat people falling down praying and crying out to God. Now we got COVID. People crying out to God and we think it's gone. And God said, okay, y'all still ain't getting it. Y'all better understand 2 Chronicles 2:14. United States. 22 years later, and y'all still ain't getting it.
They ain't sat down yet.
Well, maybe we need to say sit down. I'm just trying to sit down somewhere. Not where, somewhere. You ought to be worn out. So I guess that's maybe what we need to say. I don't know what we need to do other than we need to allow God to truly enter into our hearts. And back to that church thing, if you read past the fret not the assembling of forsaking of yourself, I believe that's Hebrews 10 or is it 13? It's 10, I think. 10, 13. I think
you're right.
It's Hebrews 10. But if you read on down a little further, there's only 2 things you're supposed to be doing at this point in time. Preaching repentance and telling of the good news of Jesus. And if you ain't doing those 2 things, what you get in the church for anyway? What you there for in that building? I'm just saying. I could be wrong, y'all. And I don't mind being wrong because y'all know the reality coach don't care about being wrong. If I'm wrong, y'all hope me and help me. But I see so much foolishness going on now. The churches have become too political. And And state and church, government and church don't go together. Quit worrying about who's a Republican or Democrat or who this or who that. Because in the end, while y'all worried, according to Matthew, while you worrying about who's a Jew or Gentile, y'all gonna all miss God.
That part.
We got to do something with this chaos, y'all. We got to. 9/11 was an eye opener, and we still don't have our eyes open because we're too busy got them on the wrong thing. Material things, fame, fortune. But we don't care about the misfortune. We got more homeless people than I've never seen in my life. And why? We got more oppressed people. Why? For the benefit of who? You can't take this stuff with you. Where you going? Y'all put me in some of y'all's wheels so I know what to do. I know what to do with it. I know what to do with it. I'm gonna really help people. Well, y'all, we might go live, so y'all stay out looking for us. But we gotta go. I'm sorry for the difficulties, and I just don't know what else to say about it. But thank you, Miss Denise Anointed Crawford, spiritual visionary. Thank you. And we'll do this again because you are so enlightened. And I'm gonna do something to get it right. But y'all be blessed. And I'll be checking in with you in a few moments.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye for now. Thank you.
There she go, the reality leaving truth, knowledge, wisdom, shades on. There she go, the reality leaving truth, knowledge, wisdom, shades on. There she go, the reality leaving truth, knowledge, wisdom, shades on. The reality code. Shades on. There she go, the reality coach, the reality coach. There she go, the reality coach, the reality coach. There she go, the reality coach, the reality coach.